Shoot, man, we back again on the Coach's Corner, man. Just here to answer all the questions, the commonly asked questions that we get. We got another special guest in here, man. An NFL coach, my man. An NFL coach now, my man, Deandre Thompson. Man, appreciate you being on. Man, tell the people who you are, where you from, man. All the crazy things we need to know about you in case something pop up in the tabloid, something like that, man. Like, who are you, man? Talk to us.
Man, first of all, thank you for letting me be on this platform, man. I'm extremely appreciative of it. But my name is Dre Thompson, born and raised in South Side of Houston, A-League, Texas. Went to A&M, was Pugh's teammate over there. Pugh was one of my OGs when I got on the football team, man. So definitely always looked up to that dude, seen him do things the right way. Grad transfer, went to University of Memphis, went back home, started teaching in Houston, was an educator for a little bit, then started getting the coaching in 2015. I was at Mizzou, GA there under Coach Walters, Ryan Walters is now the head coach of Purdue. Barry Odom was now at UNLV. Fortunate enough to go back to A&M, so coach at the alma mater was with Coach Summey for 2 years, and then was with Jimbo and Coach Mo, Coach Elko for that second year. Transitioned from there to Campbell University, FCS school out of North Carolina for 2 seasons. Yep. From there to University of Buffalo with Coach Mo, who's still the head coach there. From there to Denver Broncos this past season, and then now with the Detroit Lions.
Dog, man. Boy, sound like you in the military, man.
Moving and shaking.
Yeah, man. But look, that's part of just the coaching tree, man. So look, let's get into it a little bit. I know that we're going to talk about more of the pro game, but just for my high school guys, right? So we're talking about the high school game and what you're looking at now with the recruiting side, right? If you had to go back to your time as a college coach, you're out there on the road recruiting, what are you looking for in guys, man? You hear the stories, you get kids saying camps, you get kids saying this recruiting service, you get kids saying a whole bunch of things. As the college coach, this is what we're looking for. This is what we do. Stop listening to all these other people. What would you tell them?
All right. First thing I'm like, all right, what's the transcript? Like, let me see that first. Because it don't matter. You could be the best player in the world. If I can't do nothing with your grades wise, I can't do nothing with you.
Right.
So that's the first thing off top of this. And then from that, I want to see what kind of individual he is. I mean, the tape is the tape. I can like the tape all I want to, but like, all right, it's things I can't tell on tape. Like, I'm talking, you go to a school and the coach is trying to seeing a whole bunch of players in front of you. And if it's not the players that I'm there to see initially, I'm asking those guys, like, hey, if you could take one of your other teammates with you to your college, who would it be? See what they say. If they're all saying it's that guy that I'm there to see, I'm like, okay, I'm on the right one. And then if they're not saying it's somebody else, I'm thinking, all right, well, something's missing with the guy I'm looking for. You know what I mean? So because you don't see that on the tape, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So stuff like that. Of course, you talk to the coaches, and I want to talk to everybody. I want to talk to the cafeteria lady, everybody who's involved with the kid, who touched the kid, to see his character. Because my thing is, I can take care of you when you're in the building. How are you going to take care of yourself outside the building? So all that, the character you as an individual. So I think that's really, really big for me.
Man, that's good. I think out of all the coaches that I've talked to, man, you said something that I don't think anybody's ever brought up is, who would you bring? Which teammate would you bring? That's a perspective I haven't thought about, man. I think that's something that will open up a lot of eyes to the kids, because shoot, players gonna tell the truth and players know. You know what I mean? And I think, man, you just open up a whole lot of eyes with that comment right there, man, because that is gonna change the game a lot, right? So when you look at from your college time, man, and to your pros, man, how did that transition work? So how did you, all the moves that you made, all the different stops that you made school wise, how did you transition from college to the pro level? How did that work for you?
Worked for me. So my first year at A&M, the defensive lines year, the assistant D-line coach here. Okay. So I was in, excuse me, let me backtrack. That's here, but prior to that, my last year at A&M, the GA with me in the secondary is the DB coach with the Broncos now. I was in college. He was with the Packers before. I was always trying to see, about the, the minority internship, just so I can see what it's like at that level and see if it's something I wanted to do. Never quite worked out. Opportunity came up. Eventually, when he got there with the Broncos, he called me. I came up for an interview, did well enough for them to keep me on, and that's how I got on. And then we had the whole transition last year in Denver. The assistant D-line coach here, me and him, GA, together my first year at A&M. Opportunity came here, same thing. Interviewed, met with Coach Campbell, Coach Glenn, who are A&M guys as well, and just was fortunate to get on here.
Love it, man. So, the first thing that comes to mind that I think about with what you said in that story is relationships. You know what I mean? And I know one of the things that I want to be able to do, and that I try and preach and tell my guys is the relationship start now, right? So if you had to tell a high school kid today, whether he's 5-star, whether he's no star, right, and he's trying to pursue a college career and he ultimately trying to have a pro career, how important are those relationships, especially now knowing that you went from that college to the pro level, and now that you're at the highest level, how does all that play together? What would you tell those guys?
Man, people see you for who you are, right? So like just being your true authentic self. Like people can fake the funk and try to be like, oh, I think I'm supposed to be this, but then when those true colors show, people are like, oh, that's him. It's like just be who you are, and people are going to gravitate towards that. And then if the ones that don't, they don't. That's perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. But if I'm cool with it, but it's not just about just like being cool with somebody. It's being cool with somebody and being able to effectively do your job. So like, we can be best friends, but if I'm a terrible coach, that person's not going to want to hire me because I'm going to be able to basically, I'm going to have to help feed their family. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
So I still have to be able to do my job and be a good person, treat people well, but I have to be able to do my job at the highest level. So definitely, you know what I'm saying, be a good human, you know what I'm saying, take interest in people outside of football, like interest in their family, whatever the case may be. But just being genuine is the biggest thing to me.
Right. Exactly, man. So all right. So now we're talking about that. All right. So we're talking about the relationships, and we know that, recruiting, we know that jobs, all that is relationship based. But when we talk about the evaluation of talent, okay, so we're going into evaluating guys. So let's say, now give me two perspectives. Give me the college perspective, but also give me the pro perspective. What are those things, or what are those elements that you're looking for? I know that everybody has their 3 or 5 things that, hey, man, I got to have this in the player. But what are those outside elements too? So what are the elements that you need that are the necessity, but what are those 2 or 3 X factors as well that you're looking for in those guys?
Okay, so I'll keep it on from a defense perspective. But for me, it don't matter what position I'm looking at. Like I want to see, is this guy physical? Like if he's a defensive player, like is he a physical player? And if he's not, he better be the most elite cover corner ever. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
My thing is like I tell people, look, like if somebody calls you a cover corner, take offense to it because they think you soft. Like I want guys who are able to be physical. Then the second thing is like you want like you can see a smart football player. Like you can see some guys who's physically limited. Like okay, well he doesn't really have the lateral quickness, he doesn't really have the top end speed, but he's always making plays on the ball. He might have to play off at 9 instead of 7, but he's still being able to be effective. Like you can see just like football instincts on tape, really. Like this guy's a football player. Like because there's something that you can't coach, and you always try to see if a guy has that or not. You know what I mean?
Yep. Gotcha.
So I think those are really too big. Like is this guy football savvy? See how football smart.
So let me ask you this: what would be the separator between? All right, so you got a guy, man. He's dominated in college or in high school. He's dominated in college. What separates the pros from the college guys? How do you have these guys who were so good in high school, so good in college, but for whatever reason they can't make it in the pros? What is the thing, man? What is the difference maker that you see, knowing that you've been on both levels now?
All right, so me from seeing it, this is being year 2 for me. These guys up here are grown men. Like, they're not worried about. You know what I mean? Like these guys are grown men who got families to feed, like grown men. And so like they look at this football stuff different. Like it's like really a job. It's not just cool. I'm here. I'm the big man on campus. It's like like we need to get this right so I can continue to feed my family. I got people to take care of, and like it's all business. You know what I mean? And as far as taking care of yourself outside of the facility, so eating the right foods, having the right trainers to like help take care of your body because that's your money maker.
Yep.
Some guys not really knowing that. Like they think they know, but they don't know to the level. Because dude, like I mean, because you've been in it, but me seeing it now, like I have a whole new respect for NFL players just because the length of the season, how much their bodies get beat up, and how they have to like they don't get back right till Thursday, Friday, and have to go back on Sunday and do
Man, let me tell you something. I don't miss them days at all. I don't miss them at all, man. But yeah, go ahead. My fault, man. I didn't mean to cut you off, man. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, it's such a long process, man. Just so much little thing that you have to do, and guys don't really see it. And then you see the young guys who come in. Like we had some rookie last year who ended up starting a lot playing DB, and you just saw him gravitate towards the bench and just start doing what they did, and it worked out well with him because he started like the last like 8-9 games, and like he's gonna be a player for him over there. But like he just figured out, like, hey, watch the vets do what the vets do. You know what I mean?
Right. Man. All right. So now I gotta pose this question now. Okay,
Right.
so my program, man, I built it from the very beginning, right? Moved to 7-on-7. Now we moved to our high school national team. So we play a national schedule, moving to basically our version of IMG, right? So now I'm starting to reel in three-star, 4-star, 5-star guys, right? You got those type guys, but the one thing that now that you've been on that level, you can look at that talent, you be like, look, man, if you don't change this, you ain't gonna make it. I don't care how many stars you got. You know what I mean? Because you've seen it on all those levels. What do those kids need to know that are aspiring to be a professional football player? That's their dream. That's their end game. That's their end all be all. What do they need to know? Because we both know how hard it is to make it. We both know that less than 1% of the world does what NFL guys do. What are those things, man, that those guys need to hear, especially from a coach that's now with the Detroit Lions?
They need to just studying film and diving into the playbook. Like it needs to be, it's your job to learn to know what to do. Because like it comes to a point where everybody's even. And then you got the elite guys who are just, different strategy, but for the most part, everybody's even. Okay, so what separates the good guys from the great guys? How much they study, like just how much they study of like their own playbook and how much they study their opponent. And so it's like you ask some of the guys, all right, third down, we go in the meeting, third down meeting, and then later on during the week, they coming and you showing some stuff that they look like, hey, coach, this receiver like to line up like this. I think we should do this. I'm like, oh, you're right. Okay, cool. And you go to a game, you see it translate, they make that pick on their route, they take it back to the house. So it's taking yourself apart by studying, really, like knowing your system and then studying the opponent.
Man, I'm glad that you said that because now they know I ain't crazy. I always say that, man. I said, dude, the higher you go, everybody can do the same thing. Yeah. That's why you there. But yeah, man, being able to study and understand, like, dude, just don't understand what you do. Understand the concept. Understand the game. Understand the totality of it that makes you the best, right? So look, one of the questions I get to from a lot of guys is just what's the life, right? So when you're looking at the elite level, you're looking at the top. What is the life of that? What does that day look like, man? What is required of me in order to be excellent? In order to have that pro stamp, that greatness stamp? What is the requirement that I need as a player?
To be dubbed great. Okay, so I've been fortunate, right? First year in the league, like I was with the Broncos, right? So I was fortunate enough to come in and see some guys do it at a very high level. So we got Pat Surtain, of course, right? And then you got Justin Simmons, who's one of the best safeties in the league, and you got Kareem Jackson, who's a 13-year vet, right? And just those guys work. Like the practice is it's so detailed, all of it. And like if something's wrong, like something happens wrong at practice, okay, cool, I mess this up. Hey, coach, run that back. Like because they want to make sure that they get it right. So on Sunday if they do. So I think that's what's making those guys great, man. Like the want to and like seeing something wrong and then fixing it right then, not fixing it later. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just fine tuning all the details is what make the good players be the great ones, man.
Man, I love it, man. I'm glad that you spitting this, man. It's just something they need to hear, especially from coaches that are there. I think just with the kids now, man, if they can just hear it and they can understand what to do, and they can start implementing that now, that would be good. So, man, let me close it out with this last one, man. I know I'm running up, man. I like to keep my word when I say 20 minutes, right? If you had to say one thing, man, to just kids, just whether it's it's high school, my guys who are in college now, because they'll see this too, right? If you had to say one thing to them and leave them with one note, what would that be, man? What would they need to know?
Biggest thing that I would say is you can learn something from everybody. Like, don't think you know everything. Like, it is okay to ask questions. Like, guys sit in many rooms, but like, oh, I don't want to ask it to sound like I'm wrong. No, ask questions. Like, whether it's football or in life in general, just ask questions. You can always learn something from somebody. Like, you can talk to somebody, ask them a question, they may give you a 30-minute spiel and you learn nothing. Cool. You may ask somebody else to give you 10 minutes and you pick up a notebook full of stuff. Like, you can always learn something from somebody. And if it's somebody that is like an opponent that you play against and you respect that game, holler at them. Like, ask them, like, hey, what? Like, if I'm a DB and that's a receiver, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hit them up. Like, hey, when you do this, this, and this, what you trying to do? Like, why are you doing that? And so that's how the good ones be great, man. Like you just as much as you can learn from anybody, do it, man. Ask questions. Never not be learning.
Man, man, I appreciate it, man. I love that, man. Look, at the end of the day, the number one reason why I do this, man, is one, like we talked about the relationships, right, man? The relationships that we just have, we built through time, man. You build through different teammates, coaches that are coaches now, that might be head coaches in the future. You don't know, right? So the relationships that you build, which i.e. links to the character that you talked about, right? Man, just being able to hear it from people that they're trying to be in those same shoes, man. They're hearing it from those people, man. So I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you said. I appreciate that you took the time out, because I know you're busy. I know it's OTA season. I remember them days, man. I remember how them days were. But now, man, I just want to make sure that we can pass it along, and that they understand and hear it. The parents hear it, the players hear it. And so, man, eventually we can have 1, 2, 3 of them, man, that are out there playing and living their dream out. You know what I mean? So, look, man, I appreciate the time. I appreciate everything that you said. It was good, man. There's a lot of golden gems that you had in there. And also, congratulations, Broncos, the Lions. Boy, listen, man, all I need is just a shout out. Just say PPT, dog, when you get your first interview, man. That's all I need. I'm good to go, dog. For you, man, I appreciate you.